Pretty comfy and feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay, Chris. A very exciting one at that. I have something very special to show you, give you all the details, and try on and have some fun. What I have here is from Dream Props. This is Superman the Movie True Replica Collector's Edition costume. Now, when it comes to Christopher Reeve, before we get to the costume, I just want to tell my story about Christopher Reeve and when I was a kid. Back in the day, Mum and Dad always used to rent the original Superman films for me, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, 4. I have a soft nostalgia for 4. I forgive it for all its sins, all its crimes against humanity, because what always drew me back was Christopher Reeve and those beautiful costumes that he sported, all made by the same manufacturer. So what we have here today is a beautiful replica of the suit worn in the first Superman film starring Christopher Reeve. And to the untrained eye, these costumes look pretty much the same, but throughout the span of those 4 films, the costumes did change, most notably in color scheme, but for overall design, it's pretty much the same. So what I'm gonna do is get into the nitty-gritty details of this particular costume, and I'm gonna try it on, totally embarrass myself because this costume is not forgiving at all. I have been very fortunate enough to be blessed with access to muscle suits, beautiful muscle kits, but not this time around. I really had to work for this one, but I'm still terrified and so excited at the same time. So a little bit of info about Dream Props. Sebastian over at Dream Props was able to gain access to the screen-used Christopher Reeve Superman 1 costume and bits and pieces of the costume from other Superman films. So it's quite an interesting piece of engineering when you look at it. Like, it does look simple, but the inner workings are a little bit different and just a little bit not what you'd think, especially for something that was made in the 70s. So I guess the best place to start is the bottom. So I'm gonna grab these beautiful boots here. These are real leather boots. And what I loved about Christopher Reeve's boots is they weren't bulky, they weren't armor plated. They just essentially look like a slipper. And we've got the red sole right there. So essentially it just tried to be like a seamless piece that fit well with the suit. So like I said, 100% all leather, and it's Velcroed at the back. But we also have a zip. So it is a white zip on the screen-used costumes, which is very cool. And it's all made to measure. So I had to give measurements of my calves, which isn't much because I can't grow calves for shit. Now moving on to the costume in itself. So it all looks like one piece with a pair of undies or trunks on the outside. But it's actually a 2-piece suit. So let's start with the bottoms here. So this is all a heavy duty Lycra when it comes to the red portions and the blue portions. So it's been hand dyed. All of these pieces have been hand dyed to get that perfect color hue, because what you'll notice in the original Superman film, the colors constantly shift. And throughout the rest of the films too, and a lot of specialty costumes in general. Case in point, like the Batman and Robin costumes in Batman and Robin, they switch between a nice matte black and sometimes a nice beautiful ice blue. But in this case, Sebastian and the crew at Dream Props really had to do their homework to make sure that the blues and the reds all matched up, especially when you're filming something like this. And you'll notice it'll shift a lot whether you're using, say, an iPhone or these beautiful Sony cameras right here. So it definitely varies in terms of a color scheme. But like I said, going back, we have the bottoms here. So you pop your bottoms on first. They're very tight. It's like a swimsuit. And then the undies or the trunks and the upper half is all one piece. So I'm going to take the belt off in a minute and show you it without the belt. But when it comes to the actual chest emblem, usually these days we're used to urethane pieces, you know, mold cast, 3D printing and stuff like that. And you think they would just get one flat piece of fabric that is the S emblem and just stick it on or sew it onto the costume. That's not the case. If you come in and take a look, this is all separate pieces of stitching, and this is exactly how the screen-used costume was. Look at all this intricate detail here. This is all separate pieces, and I will take the full suit off the mannequin and show you guys the inside just to see the work that's gone in. But all this stitching here, this is exactly how it was on the screen-used suit. So again, the craftsmanship is brilliant. Now, if we actually go up here, we'll also see that the crew at Dream Props have even replicated the original costume tag from Berman and Nathan's, who are located in London. They made the costumes for all 4 Superman films. So I love that. It's just that nerdy goodness, that little Easter egg in there to replicate the original costume tag. It says Christopher Reeve, color B, 78876, Superman flying. So that was probably in terms of the tunic, whether it was a flying tunic, a walking tunic. You've got underwater tunics, stunt tunics. There's a whole array of tunics that go through the ringer, and then obviously probably a hero one that is not allowed to get dirty or have any wear and tear on it whatsoever. Now, going back to the cape, it's actually a very unique and I wouldn't say unorthodox design, but it's not one that I would have gone with. But back in the 70s, that's what they went with. So if we come over here, we'll see it's on a snap system. So we've got two heavy duty snaps right there. You see this cord right here? That actually runs under the arms, attaches at the back. So you essentially just tie a bow at the back and then zip the suit up. Obviously you have to tuck the cape in. It's a little bit tricky on the mannequin here because we don't have like an upper neck. We'll be able to do that once I put the suit on. But yeah, it's a very weird combo, and you actually see behind the scenes footage of Christopher Reeve putting the cape on, and he has people helping him tie it at the back, zip him into it. So there probably is going to be a bit of bulk at the back, but the cape will definitely cover that up. Now, when it comes to the cape fabric, it's a double ply soft gabardine, which is something I've never heard of before. But this is a material and a fabric that they mostly make pants out of, like men's trousers for that matter. And it does flow beautifully, especially for a 2-ply, like a doubled up fabric. It looks beautiful. It definitely looks the part. And they had various capes throughout the 4 films, like a flying cape, a field cape, a stunt cape. They also had a cape that was able to have a wire fed through it, which is really cool. So you really got that great effect of the cape that had a bit of weight, but when there's like a breeze applied to it, it looks majestic. Now I've gone ahead and taken the belt off the mannequin. So you can see right here, the upper is all one piece, including the trunks, or as we call them in Australia, undies. So you see there, the bottoms, they separate, they go right up, Harry high pants, and it's great. It also tucks your man gut in, so it's like a built-in super girdle. But to give you a bit of context for the belt, it's made of vinyl, and the actual buckle was 3D printed and scanned off a screen-used Superman 2 belt buckle, which is really cool. You can see, just like the tunic, they've even replicated the original wardrobe tag. So it says Superman walking. So it might be in reference to a screen-used belt that just had Superman walking on it. Now, a bit of a side note and something you should take into consideration with these costumes, when you're dealing with a very, I wouldn't say delicate, but you don't want to ruin the finish type of fabric. When you are threading the belt through these belt loops, put a piece of Velcro on the rough edge, because if you don't and you try and thread it through, it's gonna scuff and catch on all that beautiful fabric. And unfortunately, I learned that the hard way right there. But once the belt's on, you don't even notice it. And the final piece of the costume, socks. Ask me why.
Why?
For Scott Lang.
Explain.
Ant-Man. I'm not joking, man. I'm so nervous about how this is all gonna look. So before I get into the suit, just to show you guys and give you guys a better look at the cape, you see the straps there, or harnesses, however what you want to call it, coming out. So it is a beautiful piece of engineering, an interesting one at that, but then also the lovely Superman emblem on the back as well. I don't know why, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with that look of the emblem. So of course, what it does, snap it on, tuck it in, and then it literally just threads around like that. And you can see as well, it's got great movement. And once it's snapped onto the suit, tucked in, it kind of just all falls into place like a jigsaw puzzle. All right, so starting to take the top half off, but just to go back to the intricate work on the chest emblem, you can just see all the individual pieces. And this is exactly how it was on the screen with suit. But also look at the way the Lycra shifts from the inside to the outside. The crew at Dream Props have done their absolute best to replicate it as best as possible. If we keep taking it off, hello, you then see the bottoms as well. So again, it kind of like tucks everything in, which is great. So with that being said, I think it's time to try this on and potentially embarrass myself, and there's no coming back from this. Oh. What is that? Huh?
You okay in there?
Yeah, fine, I'm fine. Fuck. Oh, okay.
think he needs lube.
All right, so here's the lower and the boots. Pretty comfy and feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. But yeah, overall, comfort-wise, it's great. It's also acting as like a man girdle. So there is a lot of excess Lycra down here. So I think it's also like one of those things, if you have, you know, longer legs, something like that, just caters to it. But also at the same time, it acts as a slipper, if that makes sense. There's no real exit at the end of these. And that also just keeps the fabric down whilst the boots are on. So it gives you that seamless look. But these boots are very comfortable. Like they're very flat, but it's just how they were in the film. They're supposed to be almost seamless, where they kind of wrap around Christopher Reeve's feet up to his calves, and then obviously start the rest of the suit. So with that being said, I think we'll throw the tunic on, the cape, the belt, and see how it all looks together. Okay, so doing something a little bit different with the mic, just trying to multitask at the same time. So I'm putting the tunic on. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like without the cape, and then I'm gonna unzip once again, and I have to get Danielo and Sarah to help me tie the cape at the back. So like I said, you're gonna put the tunic on, the belt, but so far, it feels really nice. It's actually kind of cooling, because it's quite hot here today. So I really like the feel of this. It's actually nice not to wear a muscle suit for once and just immediately start sweating. Okay, so these sleeves are very, very tight. So it picks up everything as well as the rest of this costume. So you kind of got to shimmy into it, make sure there's no folds, no creases, something like that. You all just want it to look nice and seamless.
See, kids, this is what happens when you take a trend.
Come unzipping me up, please.
Yes. Yeah, you hold that.
That's why you're Selena and Bruce. You guys have seen each other do the dumbest shit.
Don't do this without supervision. So like I said, once again, to thread the belt through, just make sure on the rough side of the Velcro, just not Superman suits in general, but something that is designed like this, that has a delicate kind of fabric that you need a nice pristine sheen and finish on. Just make sure you have another piece of Velcro on it to thread it through. So one thing too that I liked about Christopher Reeve's aesthetic was very like strong man, you know, high-waisted. And sometimes, you know, I give a bit of shit for certain costumes with Harry high pants, but in this case it works. It works for this type of costume. Belt up. Okay, pull that down. Cool, there we go so far. Again, very comfy, not overly hot. Like it's a lot more cooler. I think if you get a nice breeze on something like this, it definitely will help. Like I'm starting to cook a little bit, but that's obviously because it's a very hot day out here. We're in a garage, so, but overall, I really love the feel of this. So I think it's time to try the cape on and then see it in its entirety. And then we're gonna break. And then tomorrow morning, we're gonna be doing a bit of a cheeky sunrise shoot to close out this video. Snap, snap, tuck in and then.
Wait, is it, yeah, like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Snap, snap. Where's the first one?
Push as hard as you can.
Maybe you have to go underway. That is snug, isn't it?
The suit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Can you breathe?
I can taste what I had for breakfast.
All right, and then these
So
are
these...
around and under.
Yeah.
Under the suit.
Yeah, so under...
So
after-
unzip
yeah.
the back.
The worst time to tell you, I'm afraid of the dark.
Says Batman.
So if I start to feed them under, this is such a strange way to do it.
This is very strange. I feel like we need to put the fan on you so you can like.
Yeah, she's getting sick. In, like that, and then like that.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
then, do you mind doing that around the back as well? If it
What am I
allows it?
tucking?
Yeah,
I
just
feel-
tuck it all in.
It's pretty much everything's tucked, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
it looks nice and snug.
That look.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. There
Yeah,
you go.
fine. Hair down and hair down.
It only took half an hour. But we got the cape on. Yeah, cool.
We did it.
Did it. And there we go, guys. The Dream Props Superman first film true replica limited edition costume. Like, kid me and adult me is screaming with excitement right now. I do love Henry Cavill's suits when it comes to the costuming technology, but I feel like Christopher Reeve's costume is in a league of its own because of the simplicity on the outside, but then also the engineering that's gone on inside the costume, whether it be the intricate sewing and details of the chest emblem, and then the cape rig, which Sarah and I just demonstrated just then. Like, a lot has gone into this, but at the same time, it's so simple and so iconic, and I'm so honored and happy to have this and to be wearing it too. Like, it's just a childhood dream come true. So I give you a couple of spin arounds, get the cape flowing. There you go. There's actually a really nice breeze. So with that being said, guys, a massive thank you to the wonderful crew over at Dream Props. I will leave all their contact info down below in the video description. Like I said, we're going to break for the rest of the day. Tomorrow morning, we are going to do a beautiful sunrise shoot out my way just to really showcase the beauty that is this costume. With that being said, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Be merry, be silly. And until next time, Geeks and Geekettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.
In this next year, we shall examine the human heart. It is more fragile than our own. The planet Krypton, my son. Your home, as it was. The total accumulation of all knowledge spanning the 28 known galaxies is embedded in the crystals which I have sent along with you. Discover where your strength and your power are needed. Always hold in your heart the pride, your special heritage. They can be a great people color they wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them to